Hello friends! Got some great stuff planned for you all today. Specifically, we will be talking about eBay, and in particular with eBay, we will be talking about BAM! These particular topics make you an eBay pro. So, number 1, why use eBay? 2, prepping your products. 3, taking great photos of your products. 4, listing your products. 5, packaging it up. And 6, shipping it out. So, without further ado, guys, let's get started. Let's get started with number 1. Why use eBay? Well, there are 4 main reasons in my list, and number 1 of which is it's quick and convenient to sell something. So, basically what I mean by that is you can schedule your sales of products whenever you want, on your own time. You can just do it whenever you want and then just ship it out whenever you're able to. So it's very convenient and it can be very quick depending on how long you want to make the overall bidding cycle or how long you want to wait before scheduling your item to sell. So it's great for that. Number 2, it's probably going to sell. Probably. Depending on how popular a product is and really how much you price it to be before you start up the bidding. Number 3, it's also really easy to use, right? We're going to go over 5 real steps on how to actually sell a product today. So simple, guys, really easy to use. And number 4, it's frugal, which is awesome, all right? It's awesome because you can sell anything you don't need in life, right? I can't tell you the number of things that I've just bought in my life that I don't need anymore and then that I've been able to turn into at least relatively quick buck and recover most of my money just by selling it on eBay again. So it's great for those reasons, and that's why we're going to learn about it, and that's why it's a great little tool in your toolbox for living frugally and not keeping crap that you don't need, because you don't need it, guys, and you should sell it on eBay. All right, next up, what we're going to talk about is prepping your products, specifically how you should definitely clean and test your products before selling them, right? So today we'll be selling this iPhone 6, and in order to demonstrate cleaning, I've got these little towels. We'll go through, clean up the product. I'll show you how it's done, don't worry. Number 1, take off any cases. Make sure that happens. You know, you don't want to sell nasty products on eBay, right? Your buyer, whoever buys them, it's gonna just be disappointed. And then, after cleaning, you can go on to testing and specifically making observations on your product, right? So, what I mean by that is testing, real simple. Make sure that whatever your product is, it turns on, it kind of works, you know? So, I've already done that. I've tested this, made sure it works, so I'm good to go with selling it. This is important. If it doesn't work, folks, or something is clearly wrong with your product that you know about, you have to let your customer know. You cannot and should never sell anything knowing that there is a defect with your product without explicitly, and I do mean this, folks, explicitly mentioning it in the details and or description of your product. So please test it, make sure it works before selling it to your customers, because one of the most important things in eBay is your reputation. If you start selling janky products without letting your customers know that they are broken or janky in some way, that just looks bad on you, and ultimately you're not gonna be able to sell them for as much as you could have. So with this, it works, turns on, looking great there. I have to make some observations that I will put in the description box about this product, specifically things like, any scratches, marks, anything that would basically make it so that you couldn't list it as a new product. So in this case, it was definitely a used product. It's got some scratches right here on top, this little iPhone here, scratches on the bottom here, all around the sides, there's some scuffs. Screen and everything looks pretty dang good. Yeah, that's what I'm just gonna put on the details of this thing. Some scratches. That's it for prepping products and cleaning them, testing them, and making observations. So very important steps, folks. Let's move on. So next up, guys, we have photographing your product. This is a very, very important step, right? Cannot be overemphasized. When selling on eBay, you must take great photos of your products in many, many different angles, and you should take as many photos as eBay will allow, which I'll put on the screen now, but I think it's 12. So when taking photos of your products, you need to take many, many photos of specifically defects, areas where your product may not be in the best condition, you know? So make sure to take a lot of pictures of those. I'll do a quick demonstration. So when taking photos, it's important to have great lighting. So using this little studio setup here, some pretty good lighting. And then a nice background without distractions, you know, to make sure that people can see the defects and make sure that people can see your product really clearly. So I have this little white cardboard that I usually use for eBay. And you all will also need a camera. Any camera that's somewhat decent will do, right? If you have a high quality camera, the higher quality the picture, the more details that it shows, the better for your consumer, your customer. But in this case, I have a Google Pixel, which show pretty good pictures and pretty good lighting, so I'll be using that. All right, time to take some photos. Maybe take a couple pictures with your product using its accessories so that they know how it looks if the accessory is actually used. And that's this section on taking great photos of your products. So make sure to do that. Make sure to take a lot of great photos, you all, and make sure to be as detailed as possible in your photos about any and all defects with your product. All right, that's it, folks. Let's get on to the next lesson. Okay, now that we have prepped our product for sale and also taken some awesome photos of our product, which I hope you all did, by the way, because it's important. It's very important for this next step that we will dive on into right now. So let's list our product on eBay, folks. You should now be able to see my screen. All right, so if you're all logged into eBay, on the top right here, there should be a little sell button. And if you aren't logged into eBay, you can definitely create an account. I suggest you do that in order to follow along and sell your stuff on eBay. It's really easy, real secure, great site. So what eBay does is it makes it really easy for you as a seller to sell your product on eBay, on their platform. And the way they do that is by basically having a catalog of all the items that have already been sold on eBay and basically giving you general information about your product if it's already been sold on eBay and if it was and is a pretty popular item. So let's take a look for our product that we're trying to sell, which is an iPhone 6. Let's just do iPhone 6. iPhone 6 comes up. You can select a model. You can select a carrier, which for our purposes, it'll be unlocked. Size is 64 gigabytes. Color is silver. And the model is our wonderful A1549. Condition is used. And the cosmetic condition is, I'm going to say good, with some scratches, chips, and or dents. No accessories will come with the item, and bam, we've already filled out a ton of details about the item we are trying to sell. Let's continue to list it. So when you click the continue to list it button, you'll pop up on this here page, and it'll show you a bunch of stuff about the post that you are going to make on eBay. It'll give you a nice title for it. Here we can add, and we will add, a bunch of our photos that we took earlier. And we will also provide a nice description of the item we're trying to sell, some pricing information, shipping, all that stuff will be provided for you, my sweet viewers, right now. All right, so we filled in some information on our product and are ready to list it. Notice how I inputted, especially in the title, that it has a clean IMEI. So if you're ever going to sell a phone, folks, make sure to check whether the IMEI, or buying a phone in fact, make sure to check whether the IMEI is clean. And what that number is basically a serial number for the phone. It identifies the phone, and if it is ever lost or stolen, you can actually report that phone and that IMEI is lost and or stolen. And basically what that does is put that phone on a blacklist where it can't be connected to a cellular provider anymore. So it basically becomes useless as a phone. So yeah, that's very important. Make sure you put that on there if you all happen to be selling or buying a phone, and check that. So some good photos, as you noticed, and as I've already mentioned, eBay allows you to put 12 photos in your listing. So make sure you utilize all of those. I have 12 photos here, all depicting the phone at different angles and all depicting my product and all its defects, as well as, I should mention, all the good parts of the product, right? And how the screen looks really nice, how it's all working, right? Make sure to try to put as much information in those photos as possible for your potential customers. All right, so next we move on to the description. So in this description here, I'm going to tell customers a little bit of story behind how this phone was used and who owned this phone. I think a little bit of story and as much detail as you can possibly give to your customers will increase the selling price of your product. It makes it seem a little less shady, folks. Don't make up these stories, by all means. Don't make them up. But if you have a good story, or if you know what the story / background of your product is, definitely put that in there. Let's see, definitely mentioned the dings and scratches already, but also mentioned the very strong parts of the phone, that it's been tested in great working condition as a clean IMEI and is ready for a new owner. And another thing that I like to do, pro tip here guys, is to put in exactly what this sale includes. So whenever I'm browsing on eBay or whatever, I do get a little sketched out because I'm not 100% sure what a listing includes. And if I'm not 100% sure what that listing includes, I'm probably not going to bid on it. And also it's a sign of a weak seller, or a seller who is maybe trying to hide something, or is just relatively novice. So make sure you put in exactly the quantity and what you are selling. I'm selling the iPhone, the case here, and the screen protector that's already on the phone. So just a little information for my potential purchasers, the IMEI, ready and able for my customers to look up just in case they don't believe me, which yes, you should definitely research on your own. Some pricing information. So this section I can talk a little bit about. eBay recommends a starting price / bid based on previous bids, and hopefully this number will get you the most amount of money at the end of the day whenever your bid finishes up. And eBay does this because it makes a percentage of profit from whatever you sell. So they want you to sell things for the maximum profit that you possibly can. So your interests are pretty much aligned there. One thing that I did add is a scheduled listing time here. Pro tip again, most of the time people buy things on eBay either on weekends or on off hours, right? If you sell a product at 10 a.m. during the day, right, you're gonna have a lot less people on eBay who are able to actually bid on that product. And if your bidding ends at 10 a.m., then you might not get many of the potential people who are willing to buy your product. So I always like to schedule out my listings specifically on Sundays, and I want them to go for 7 days, so the maximum amount of time so people can watch the item and see the item and get it a little bit advertised. And then I also like to end my bids around, say, 7 p.m., right? So I figure the US approximately has 2 hours to my east and 2 hours to my west that I can take advantage of from 7 p.m. So that'd be 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Those seem like good hours that most people might be on eBay buying my product or looking at products. So I think 7 p.m. is a good time to end your product bidding cycle, depending on where you are in the US, right? You might want to think about that, what time you might want to set so that you capture the most of your market that you possibly can in terms of consumers and potential buyers. And then another pro tip here, I always put a buy it now price that is substantially higher than what I expect it to actually sell for. And the reason for that is because I want to anchor the price. There's something called anchoring. It's a psychological term. So anytime you see a really high price, people generally anchor to that. It's the same thing that happens when you see the price of a Maserati or the price of like a really fancy cup of Starbucks or something, even though it costs way less to actually make that product, right? Just knowing that someone thinks it's that expensive makes the product actually a little bit more valuable, right? Or just knowing some made up price for the product may anchor some people to, have a higher price that they're willing to pay for that product. So that's why I always put that on there. Just a little tip for you all, my lovely viewers. And then of course I did weigh the product already, which I will go over in the packaging section. Have some dimensions here. I'm willing to accept local pickup. Of course I'm not going to pay for shipping. They're going to pay for shipping. And we are ready to list it. You can just push this list it button, and whenever you decide to schedule it, your listing should be live on eBay. It's as easy as that, folks. Definitely recommend it. Definitely should do it. Let's move on to the next section now. Okay, so let's move on to packaging, friends. So another pro tip for you all is that when it comes to packaging, you can do a lot of this stuff before you even sell your product. So whenever you have some time during the week or whenever your product is listed, you can always do the packaging then, especially if you're sure it's gonna sell. That way you can get that junk done with. So here's what I've done so far. I've prepped the box, put my product actually in here. Not nicely yet, but this is just for weight. Right? I need to know how much this thing weighs. So you can either do that with a grocery store scale if you don't have one at home, or some other scale somewhere if you can find one. But what I've done is just purchased this nice little scale, this Accutech scale from Amazon, which I will link in the description below. Just for you all, my lovely viewers. With this scale right now, we will put on our product, figure out how much it actually weighs. Yep, about 8.9 ounces, 10 ounces. So we've done that, and then another thing you all can do is, if you reuse boxes like me, you should definitely remove any of the labels and whatever junk that is currently on the boxing and packaging. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Oh, and one last tip for you all. Do not tape off this box if you are pre-packaging your item, because after you make a sale on eBay, they will have you print out a shipping label to put in here this box to make sure that it gets to your customer safely and has a good description of your product and whatnot. So just don't close it off if you're going to pre-package your item. Okay? Alrighty, folks, it is that special day. Your eBay package just sold. Final bids were placed and things are done. You got that confirmation email from eBay saying your item was sold. What do you do now, folks? Oh, don't worry. Young Money is gonna show you. All right, so we are on the eBay page, right? And we just got this notification here that we sold our item. Yay! Click on that, and we can see that it'll take us to this nice eBay page where it'll give us a little summary of any shipping we can buy directly from eBay. I recommend that, especially if this is your first few times selling on eBay, just to buy the shipping that eBay lets you buy, and they get some kind of discount on it, so it might be easier for you. Unless you are some kind of shipping god, just get the stuff through eBay. It's a lot easier, folks. So we see that the default option has been selected, the default weight and price, whatever. It all looks good to me, and I'm just gonna leave the defaults because that is what the buyer paid for. So I will purchase and print shipping label. That's all you gotta do, folks. Go down there and just click purchase and print shipping label. Label has been purchased and now you can just print it. So print that sucker out and we'll get started with the next part. Okay, and one more thing, folks. When you are on the shipping label page, you can also print something known as a packaging slip, which is basically just a nice little slip that you put in the package in case it gets lost, and it has a little nice message for the buyer, letting them know that, hey, thank you for purchasing this, you should do it again. It's a nice little thing to do, and you can click this too and print out that packaging slip for the customer, just to do something nice, you know? Okay, folks, next up is the shipping label. There are some nice instructions on the shipping label for you to follow, but basically, all you have to do is cut out that shipping label, tape it nice and solidly onto the box, and also make sure not to tape over the barcode on your shipping label. So, without further ado, let's do that. All right, bam! As you can see, I taped all 4 sides with my patented Young Money taping technique, but since you all are my lovely, lovely viewers, you can have that one for free. Don't say Young Money never gave you nothing, all right? So, now that we have our item packaged and our packaging slip inside, shipping label attached, final step we have to do is find a mailbox. Put this sucker in. If you chose to print a shipping label off eBay, you almost surely got a USPS shipping label. So all you have to do is find a postal box that this can fit in, or a place where you can drop off your package, like a local post office. And I'm not going to be able to do that for you all, so I'll leave that up as an exercise for the viewer. So please, go, knock yourself out, finish this task, and get that package delivered. Alrighty, folks, if you were following along, you just completed, with me, Young Money's course on eBay selling. So congratulations. Pat yourself on the back for me, please, because I'm probably not there, otherwise it'd be creepy. So, with that, you have learned successfully why you should sell on eBay, number 1, how to prep an item for eBay, take photos of an item for eBay, how to list an item on eBay, how to print a shipping label, package that item, and ship it off. Well, hopefully you learned to ship it off, because that was your exercise, and I hope you did that well. With that, folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, if it helped you out, give me a like or a subscribe even, if I'm even a tiny bit entertaining. Otherwise, please, also feel free to leave a comment on what you thought of the video right down below, folks. Smash that subscribe button. You can also do that right down below, folks. For now, though, I'm going to sign off, and there'll be more courses coming your way. Take care, folks.